Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, still a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. Alright, so there's not a whole lot to report here before we get going. I did scout around the trading block, see what's available. It's very slim pickings. Actually, I have the IS rated players available, like Tim Gleason and Michael Ryder. They're at the top of the list, so I don't really have anything that's all that interesting in there. So I know it's been a while since I've attempted to make a trade on my own. I just don't see anything. I don't see a player that I really want to go after and be like, okay, yeah, I want that guy. I really don't see that. So we are going to be staying put, unless, of course, as usual, something falls on my lap, and then I will definitely consider it. I've made a couple trades that way lately, but none that I have initiated. So we are about to play January of 2007, so it is a new calendar year yet again, and this month is going to be very heavy on home games. So just in the first 20 days of the month, we have like 8 home games and 2 away games. So we're going to be kind of busy at home at this point. So we're going to go ahead and get going. The first team we are facing is today. We are hosting the Atlanta Thrashers. We are 1-0 against Atlanta this year. We won 5-0 in Atlanta, and Atlanta is 23-12-5. Pretty good record. They are good for third in the East. They are leading their division. So let's see if we can beat them again playing on home ice. As usual, go Sens go. Alright, and Peter Budaj is going to be in net for Atlanta, and we are going to go to Brian Elliott. And we won 3-2. Alright, so we start with a win. That's good. We did outshoot Atlanta 43-16 in this game. Brian McCabe was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Derek Armstrong was the second star with 2 assists. And Patrick Eliash was the third star with 2 assists as well. We had 17,243 people in attendance for this game. So Mike Fisher opened up the scoring in the first period from Brian McCabe and Daniel Alfredson, and then Pavel Datsyuk from Sheldon Surin, Patrick Eliash. So it was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Atlanta scored. It was 2-1. Then Atlanta scored in the third period to tie the game at 2, but handful of seconds later, Patrick Eves scored from Robin Regier and Patrick Eliash, and that was a game winner as we won 3-2. Alright, Martin Straka has accomplished 900 points in his career. Pretty good for Martin Straka there. Playing in Nashville, he got an assist against Colorado. 34 years old, Martin Straka. Yeah, he's definitely having a pretty good career in my universe. Eugene Melnick is very happy with my work as we went 12-1-1 last month. So we turned things around a little bit. I wasn't super happy with the first couple months of the season, and it's not necessarily because I'm losing. I'm not a sore loser or anything, but because I felt like we weren't playing our best elements. I'm still not too happy with Brian Elliott starting the majority of the games, but at least we're winning, I guess. Alright, so Daniel Sedin extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal against Calgary. Alright, so the Sedin twins should be pretty much fully developed at this point, although I think that Henrik is struggling as far as development goes. Dennis Wideman extends his goal streak to 5 games as well, so a defenseman, that's interesting. So he had a goal and 2 assists against the New Jersey Devils. Blake Como got suspended, playing for the Islanders. He's going to miss 4 games. Alright, and we are about to play the Buffalo Sabres. So Buffalo is 14, 23, and 2. That's good for 14th in the East. They are struggling, and we are 4-0 against them this season. So we are hosting them again. So Tim Thomas is going to be in net for Buffalo. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 7-5, so a little bit of a crazy game here. We outshot Buffalo 42-28. Jason Pominville was the first star. He had 3 goals and 2 assists, so he participated to all the goals for his team. Anton Volchenkov was the second star with an assist, and Derek Roy was the third star with 3 assists. That's pretty rare that you see that, actually. And it's something I've been pointing out a lot near the start of this playthrough and everything, that, you know, typically the winning team gets the first and third star, and the second star is usually the losing team, but this time around it was the other way around, so that's kind of surprising. So we had 17,025 people in attendance for this game, so Buffalo scored first in the first period, and then Pavel Datsyuk tied the game with his 10th of the season from Mark Streit and Jason Spezza. Then Buffalo scored again, made it 2-1 after 1 for Buffalo. Then Buffalo scored about midway through the second period, made it 3-1. But then we started to score some goals. Alexei Yashin scored his 10th on the power play from Jason Spezza and Martin Havlat. Then Pavel Datsyuk from Joe Thornton and Zdeno Chara tied at 3. Then Mike Fisher scored his 10th from Marian Osa, so we were up 4-3. Then Buffalo tied the game. It was tied at 4. Then Buffalo took the lead at the start of the third period, 8 seconds in actually. So it was 5-4 Buffalo, but then we would score 3 unanswered goals. Mike Fisher from Daniel Alfredson and Chris Kelly, then Joe Thornton on the power play from Chris Kelly and Daniel Alfredson, and Brooks Like from Robin Regier and Anton Volchenkov, 7-5. The final score for the Sens in a crazy game. Red light stays on for Jason Pominville. We just saw that. He had a really good game against us, even though we won. Oh, Mark Streit is hurt. Although he might be able to play through injury. Alright, so in 3 days we are going to host the New Jersey Devils. Juraj Kolnik and Bed Clymer are available on waivers. Daniel Sedin extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against Dallas. Pavel Dimitra extends his goal streak to 5 games. He is also on a tier there. He had a goal and an assist against Phoenix. Eric Johnson in St. Louis is suspended. He is going to miss 3 games. Is that Colby Armstrong that's available there? Yeah, Colby Armstrong and Michael Layton are available on waivers. Jaromir Jagr has a great game. He had, 3 goals and 3 assists against Buffalo. So, pretty good game for Jagr. Excellent passing leads to productive night for Sidney Crosby, who had 5 assists in that same game. So, Sid the Kid getting a lot of points there. Thomas Vanek extends his goal streak to 5 games. Another one that's on a goal scoring streak. 2 goals in that game against Pittsburgh. Oh, that's not. Ooh, that must hurt too. Brad Richards is out with a torn groin, so he's going to miss 2 months. That happened against the Avalanche. So of course, Brad Richards is a pretty good player, so that's gonna hurt the Lightning. They already don't have a whole lot of firepower, so. Alright, and then there's been a trade between Pittsburgh and Montreal. So Dan Snyder and Andy Chiodo are going to the Montreal Canadiens for Jochen Hecht and Peter Ratchuk. Yeah, I would say Jochen Echt is probably the best player in that trade, so Pittsburgh probably won this deal. Not by a landslide or anything like that, but still. Alright, and we are about to play against the New Jersey Devils. So the Devils are 22-14-4 this season, which is good for 7th in the East. We are 1-1 against the Devils this season, so let's see if we can beat them again. Martin Brodeur in net for the Devils. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 5-0. Woohoo, shutout. So we outshot the Devils 43-12. Brian McCabe was the first star. He had 2 assists. Chris Kelly was the second star with a goal. And Mike Fisher was the third star with an assist. We had 17,045 people in attendance for that game. Martin Avlat opened up the scoring in the first period on the power play from Brian McCabe and Patrick Eliash, and it was 1-0 Suns. After one, there was a fight in that period. Brian McCabe and Simon Gamache got into a scrap together. Then we scored 3 goals in the second period. Jason Spezza scored on the power play from Joe Thornton. Then Chris Kelly scored his 5th from Robin Regier and Daniel Alfredson. And then Patrick Eliash scored his 5th on the power play from Brian McCabe and Jason Spezza, 4-0 after 2. And then in the third period, Anton Volchenkov scored from Mike Fisher. It was 5-0. There was also a fight in the second period. It was Chris Neal against Brandon Nolan. And now we are about to host the Philadelphia Flyers. So the Flyers are 21-15-5, which is good for 9th in the East. And we are 1-1 against the Flyers this year. They are going to go to Curtis Joseph. We are going to Ryan Miller for this one. And we won 7-3. We outshot the Flyers 52-34 in that game. Joe Thornton was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with 3 assists, and Mike Fisher was the third star with 2 goals. 15,563 people in attendance for this game. Joe Thornton opened up the scoring at the start of the first period from Pavel Datsyuk, and then Jason Spezza scored from Brooks Lake. It was 2-0 Sens after 1. And then apparently Robin Regier and Paul Gostad fought in the first period as well. And in the second period, Robin Regier scored from Chris Phillips and Daniel Alfredson, made it 3-0 Suns. And then Philadelphia scored, then we scored. It was Joe Thornton from Pavel Datsyuk and Zdeno Chara. It was 4-1 at that point. Then Philadelphia scored again. It was 4-2 for us after 2. And Chris Neal and Darcy Tucker fought in the second period as well. And then in the third period, Chris Kelly scored on the power play from Jason Spezza and Alexei Yashin. Mike Fisher from Joe Thornton and Pavel Datsyuk. Mike Fisher again from Alexei Yashin and Marian Osa. And finally, Philadelphia scored another goal, made it 7-3. But obviously, that wasn't enough, and we won 7-3. Mickey Dupont is available on waivers. I am not picking him up. Alright, Mark Streit is recovered from his injury, and then there's been a trade between Toronto and Buffalo. So Patrice Brisebois goes to Buffalo, and Sasha Gotch goes to the Leafs. Alright, and now we are about to play the Boston Bruins. So that's the last game of that long homestand. We are 2-0-1 against the Bruins this season. They are 24-13-2. That's good for 6th in the East. Alright, and Boston is going to send Thomas Vokoun in net. We are going to go with Brian Elliott. And we won 4-2. We outshot Boston 38-15. Alexei Yashin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Senzis Ozolinsh was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Mark Streit, now that he is recovered, had 2 assists and the third star. 17,264 people in attendance for this game. Boston scored first in the first period, but then Jason Spezza scored on the power play from Mark Streit and Alexei Yashin. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Daniel Alfredson scored from Chris Kelly. It was 2-1 after 2. Then in the third period, Alexei Yashin scored from Marian Hossa and Anton Volchenkov to make it 3-1. Then Boston scored. It was 3-2. And then Brian McCabe scored on the power play from Mark Streit and Alexei Yashin. 4-2 was the final score in this one. Right, there was a strong night for Brett Hedican, who had a hat-trick 3 goals against St. Louis. Oh, very recently acquired Jochen Hecht in Pittsburgh got suspended. He's going to miss 6 games. Alright, and now we are going to go on the road for a quick one game on the road, then we're going to be back for 3 games at home. Ooh, that's going to hurt Pittsburgh. Jaromir Jagr is hurt for 4 weeks. He has a bruised wrist. Eric Johnson's suspension ended in St. Louis. He is back in the lineup. Alright, and now we are about to play against the New York Rangers. It's going to be in New York at Madison Square Garden. The Rangers are 22-21-1 this season. They are 10th in the East. Looks like they are kind of hovering that 500 mark ever since we started to play them. They are going to be sending Al Montoya in net. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we are 2-0 against the Rangers this year. I don't remember if I said it or not. And we lost 4-3 in overtime. So the Rangers did beat us. We outshot the Rangers 50-18. Alex Kovalev was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Jason Spezza was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Fedor Tsutin was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. So Jason Spezza opened up the scoring in the first period on the power play from Martin Havlat and Alexei Yashin. So it was 1-0 Sens after 1. And then the Rangers scored 3 goals in the second period and took a 3-1 lead. So then it took goals from Anton Volchenkov, assisted by Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton, and Patrick Eliash from Marian Hossa and Sheldon Surrey to bring us to overtime. So we tied the game 3-3, went to overtime. Nobody scored in overtime. And it took a little bit to win in the shootout for the Rangers, but Dennis Weidman ended up scoring the game winner. So we lost 4-3. Blake Comeau's suspension ends with the Islanders. He is back in the lineup. No further punishment for Adam Foote, not suspended. Kurt Fraser's job is in jeopardy with the Kings. So the Kings are 19-20-6. So they are looking into maybe making a coaching change. Suspension over for Carlo Kolayakovo, back in the lineup in San Jose. Trevor Linden has reached 750 assists in his career with 2 assists against Minnesota. So 36 years old, Trevor Linden, he's only a 1-star talent anymore. Strong night in that same game for Daniel Sedin, who had 3 goals and 2 assists. Ooh. That's pretty good. Adam Burish, Brian Elmer, and Yanni Ninima are all available. Right, and we are about to play the Montreal Canadiens. So Montreal is 31-12-1. Which is good for 4th in the East. We are 1-1-1 against Montreal this year. Hopefully we can beat them. They're kind of close to us in the standings. I don't like that. They're going to go to Carey Price in net. We are going with Brian Elliott. And we won 4-1. So we outshot Montreal 37-23. Patrick Elias was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Zdeno Chara was the second star with an assist. And Sheldon Surrey was the third star with a goal. 20,510 people in attendance for this game in Ottawa. And we open up the scoring with Chris Neal scoring from Alexei Yashin and Mark Streit. And then Daniel Alfredson from Pavel Datsyuk. It was 2-0 after 1. Then Patrick Elias scored in the second period on the power play from Zdeno Chara and Joe Thornton. It was 3-0 Sens after 2. And then in the third period, Montreal scored to make it 3-1. But about 3 minutes later, Sheldon Surrey scored from Jason Spezza and Patrick Elias. 4-1 was the final score here in Ottawa against the Montreal Canadiens, and there were a lot of penalties in this game. I was checking to see if there were any fights, but there weren't any. Jere Lehtinen has recorded 1,000 games played in his career. Didn't get a point. That happened against Carolina, so Jere Lehtinen now plays for Atlanta. 33 years old, 3-star player. So still pretty good. Rob Niedermeyer is suspended in Nashville. He's going to miss 5 games. Alright, we are going to be hosting the Washington Capitals here in a couple days. So John Paul and Thomas Pleadle are available. Not picking them up. And now Sean Brown and Nick Boynton are available. Brendan Morrison has accomplished 600 points in his career. He had an assist against Boston. So 31 years old, Brendan Morrison, star-and-a-half player. Phil Kessel extends his goal streak to 5 in that same game against Buffalo. He had a goal. Alright, and we are about to play the Washington Capitals. So Washington is 22-20-3. That's good for 11th in the East. So we are 2-0 against the Caps this year. It's always dangerous when you face Alex Ovechkin, so we never know what might happen here. Tuukka Rask is going to be in net for the Capitals, and we are going to go with Brian Elliott. And we won 4-3 in overtime, so they brought it to us. We did outshoot Washington 55-15, though. So Patrick Elias was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Boyd Gordon was the second star with a goal, and Marianosa was the third star with an assist. 16,088 people in attendance for this game, and we did take a 3-0 lead into the first period. It was Patrick Elias from Pavel Datsyuk and Joe Thornton, then Brooks Laich from Patrick Elias and Marianosa, Zdeno Chara from Patrick Elias and Mark Streit, and just like that, it was 3-0 Sens after 1. And then Washington scored 3 goals in the third period, so no goals were scored in the second, and then 3 goals scored in the third period. And then in overtime, nobody scored. And then in the shootout, Datsuk scored, and then Nick Backstrom scored, and then finally Patrick Eves scored the game winner at that point. Yannick Perrault and Scott Thornton are available, not picking either. Matthew Schneider has accomplished 900 points in his career with a goal against Vancouver. So that's pretty good. Matthew Schneider is 37 years old and he's still a 3-star defenseman. Great night for Mike Ribeiro in that same game. He had 3 goals and 2 assists. Woof. Alright, Sandis Ozolinsh has arrived at 1,000 games with an assist against Buffalo as well to celebrate that. So Sandis Ozolinsh, 34 years old, 2-star player. So memorable game for Scott Hartnell with Nashville, who had a hat-trick against the Wings. And now we are about to play against the Vancouver Canucks. Alright, so it's a little difficult for Vancouver this year. They are 16, 28, and 2. And we are going to take a look at their lineup and see if we can figure out what's going on over there. Alright, well, Pavel Bure is hurt, but by now, he's only a 1-star player, 35 years old. Ooh, yeah, there's not a whole lot going on there. Alright, so in net it's UC Markkanen and Marty Turco, so that's not great. Greg DeVries, Konstantin Kolstov, Aaron Ward, Brent Sopel, Willie Mitchell, Matthias Olund, Kevin Bieksa, Yaroslav Spacek, and David Petrasek on D. That's, I mean, it's okay, but it's not great. Bates Battaglia, Daniel Sedin, Tomas Holmstrom, Alish Kotalik, Eric Schweinard, Trevor Linden, Smith Rutu, Sedin, Ivanen, Hamburger, and Ortmeyer. Yeah, that team is not very deep. There's a couple good players, and after that, it's not that great. So they are going with Marty Turco in net for that one. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 3-0. We outshot Vancouver 41-17. Sheldon Sorry was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Pavel Datsuk was the second star with an assist. And Daniel Alfredson was the third star with an assist as well. We had 15,985 people in attendance for that game. Chris Kelly opened up the scoring in the first period from Mike Fisher and Daniel Alfredson. And then Alexei Yashin scored on the power play from Mark Streit and Martin Havlat. It was 2-0 after 1. Then in the second period, Sheldon Sorry scored short-handed from Robin Regier and Pavel Datsuk, 3-0. That would stick all the way to the end of the game. And we got a shutout. There was also a fight in the third period between Zdeno Chara and Matthias Olund, of all people. Wow. I mean, granted, I've never followed the Vancouver Canucks like super crazy closely or anything like that, but I don't remember of Matthias Olund fighting. He might have, but I don't think that was something he was doing very regularly, and probably not against Zdeno Chara. But hey, it is what it is. Oh, that video has been flying. There's only 4 games left already. So, alright. Alright, so we are about to play well, I can't really call that a home and home against Boston because there's a week off in between games. So we're going to play on the road in Boston now, and then in a week we are going to be hosting Boston back at home. So I guess technically it is a home and home, but usually when they use that terminology in hockey, it's either 2 games in 2 days, or sometimes there's a day off in between. They're going to call it like that. Alright. Oh no, that's gonna suck for the Canucks. We just played them and just saw how much they were struggling with having good players. Well, now Daniel Sedin is out 4 months with a torn thigh muscle. Yeah, pretty much season over for you, buddy. There was no stopping Corey Perry, who had 3 goals and an assist against the Flames. Lawrence Nicollet is suspended in Minnesota. He's going to miss a game. Alright, about to play the Bruins in Boston. Bruins right now are 26-16-3. They are 7th in the East. We are 3-0-1 against the Bruins this year. We just played them not too long ago. So Brian Elliott is going to be in net for us. Thomas Vokun is going to be in net for Boston. And we won 5-2. We outshot the Bruins 29-15 in that game. Zdeno Chara was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Patrick Elias was the third star with a goal. So Boston scored first in the first period, and then Pavel Datsyuk tied the game on the power play from Zdeno Chara and Daniel Alfredson, so it was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Mark Streit scored on the power play from Jason Spezza and Chris Kelly, made it 2-1 Sens. And then in the third period, Patrick Elias scored from Brooks Laich and Marianosa. Then Brandon Bochinski from Sheldon Souray and Alexei Yashin. It was 4-1 Sens at that point. Then Boston scored a goal, came within 2 with 7:33 to go in the third. But then Zdeno Chara scored on the power play in an empty net. With 2 seconds to go from Pavel Datsyuk and Joe Thornton. 5-2 was the final score. And in that period, there was a fight between Mark Stewart and Brian McCabe. Brian McCabe fights a lot. And that was Joe Nieuwendyke's 1500th game in his career. So, as we know, some of them were played in Ottawa. He didn't get a point in that game, so Joe Nieuwendyke is now 40 years old, and he's still a 2-star player, so still able to play. How many points this season? 13 points in 46 games. Yeah, he's slowed down, but he's still able to play, though. Just not at the level he used to play at. Alright, and now we have a week off. Now, I don't know if it was a week off for everybody or if it's just for us right now, but I guess we'll see. Chris Osgood has arrived at 800 games played for Detroit, so... And he celebrated with a shutout. Look at that. Lawrence Nicollet is back from suspension in Minnesota. Daryl Sutter might get fired. Chicago is 23-22-3. Oh, nope, no games are being played, so maybe it's like the All-Star break or something, with some extra days off or something like that. Yeah, no games being played. Nikita Alexev is available. I'm not gonna pick him up though. Alright, Colby Armstrong, Brett McLean, Dennis Schvidke, and Derek Morris. Yeah, Derek Morris is struggling a little bit to stay in the lineup in Nashville. Looks like maybe we got rid of him at the right time. Alright, in 2 days we are playing against the Bruins. Brian Muir is on waivers. So yeah, I guess everybody got a week off because there hasn't been any games. Oh, no, there's been a bunch of games yesterday. Suspension for Atlanta's Jim Fahey, who's going to miss 3 games. No further discipline for Washington's Sean Hill, not suspended. Rob Niedermeyer is back from suspension. With Nashville, he is back in the lineup. Suspension over for Jochen Hecht in Pittsburgh. Alright, and we have 3 games left in January, so now the second of the quote-unquote back-to-back after a week off. So we are hosting the Bruins, now 26-17-3, still 7th in the East. Thomas Vokoun in net for them. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 2-0, so another shutout for us. We outshot Boston 30-18. Jason Spezza was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Mike Komisarek was the second star despite not getting any points, and Joe Thornton was the third star with an assist. We outshot Boston 30-18, but I think I said that already. I'm sorry. I'm diabetic and it's about time for me to eat, so I'm starting to be a little woozy, so I'm gonna try to get through the video here and end that so I can go and eat. So let's see here. So in the second period we had Pavel Datsyuk score from Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza. And then Jason Spezza in the third period scored on the power play. That was his 30th from Mark Streit and Brian McCabe. 2-0 is the final score. Nice little game after the break. Rafi Torres is suspended with the Islanders. He's going to miss 7 games. Now, if the game is any accurate at all, Rafi Torres is going to get suspended many more times. Red light stays on for Sidney Crosby, who had 4 goals and an assist against Phoenix. Pretty good game for you. Brad Boyes keeps fans on their feet all night in Toronto. He had 4 goals and an assist. David Ale. He played for a very short time with the Sens in real life. I'm not gonna pick him up though. Philadelphia's Paul Gossett-God is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Alright, and then we have 2 games in 2 nights. So we are playing in Montreal tonight against the Habs. Montreal is 33-16-1. They are still 4th in the East. We are 2-1-1 against them. And again, I want to win because they are kind of close to us in the standings. And it would be pretty hard for me to accept that Montreal finishes ahead of us now that I have a team that I have molded to my own taste. So Brian Elliott is in net for us, Carey Price in net for the Habs. And we won 6-1. We're doing pretty good against Carey Price. I like that. So we outshot Montreal 52-24. Martin Havlat was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Robin Regehr was the second star with 2 assists, and Patrick Eaves was the third star with a goal and an assist. Martin Havlat opened up the scoring in the first period. It was his 10th on the power play from Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza. Then Patrick Eaves from Robin Regehr. And then Mark Streit scored his 10th on the power play as well from Martin Havlat and Joe Thornton. Then Montreal scored, and it was 3-1 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Chris Kelly scored on the power play from Daniel Alfredson and Patrick Elias, and then Martin Havlat from Robin Regehr and Patrick Eaves, 5-1 after 2. And then finally, Mark Streit scored from Chris Kelly and Mike Fisher, and it was 6-1 Sens as the final score. Ooh. Alright, so Zdeno Chara is day-to-day with a bruised thigh. So, yeah, he might miss next game. And Josef Stumpel is hurt in Boston. He's going to miss 6 months with with ruptured tricep tendon. So Stumpel is a 2.5 star player, so he's hurt. And then finally, the last game of January 2007 is going to be at home against the Washington Capitals. We just played them not too long ago. We are 3-0 against them. They are now 24-22-4. They are 10th in the East at the moment. Tuukka Rask is going to be in net for Washington, and we are going to go to Ryan Miller. And we won 2-1. Alright, we outshot Washington 39-16. Marian Hossa was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Tuukka Rask was the second star. Despite the loss, he had 37 saves. And Alex Ovechkin was the third star with an assist. We had 15,964 people in attendance for this game. Jason Spezza opened up the scoring in the first period on the power play from Brian McCabe and Mark Streit. Then in the second period, Marian Hossa scored from Patrick Elias and Pavel Datsyuk. It was 2-0 Sens after 2. Then in the third period, Steve Bernier scored for Washington to make it 2-1, but nobody else would score, and 2-1 was our final score. Big game for Simon Gagner, who had 4 assists against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Pretty good. Bill Guerin has tallied 600 points in his career. He had an assist against Vancouver. So, 36 years old, Bill Guerin, 2.5 star. Former Ottawa Senator, too. Alright, and we are going to click one more time so that we are on February 1st. Alright, big month. Nets Hardware for Pittsburgh's Sidney Crosby was the player of the month, and Brian Elliott was the goaltender of the month. Wow. Did not see that one coming. Alright, so this is what the standings look like in the East right now. So now we have a 10-point lead on Pittsburgh, although we did play 4 more games than they have. In the West, we are... Ooh, look at that. Columbus is first in the West. That's fun. Then Anaheim, Edmonton, Nashville, St. Louis. Look at the Detroit Red Wings. They're sneaking themselves back into the playoffs. Then San Jose and Minnesota. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the stats. So Spezza is 68 points in 53 games, 58 and 53 for Thornton, 38 and 49 for Streit, 35 and 41 for Yashin, 34 and 53 for Hossa, 33 and 53 for Datsyuk. So Datsyuk has started to produce a little bit more. Then it kind of dwindles down from there. Sheldon Surrey has really slowed down. Alright, and now we're going to take a look in the entire league. So we have Jaromir Jagr with 32 goals, that's first. Jason Spezza has 31, so he's right behind him. Joe Thornton is the best passer in the league right now, so we have the best passer. And the most points belong to Jaromir Jagr with 78. Even with his injury, he's still like way ahead of everybody else. Like, that's 9 more than Crosby right now and 10 more than Spezza. Alright, so today was a little bit more of a shorter video by my own standards anyway. I sure still hope that you enjoyed the video, so I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff, and until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.